Welcome to Fresh Tech Tips. I am Derrell Noris, CEO of Fresh Tech Solutions. And today I have some of my awesome business partners with me.
Hello, Derrell. I'm Nicholas Mbaezue-Daniel, founder of Aegis Project Management.
And I'm Dr. Doug Franklin, CEO and co-founder of Deck Launch LLC. How you guys doing?
I'm doing pretty awesome on this lovely Monday. Glad to be
Deck,
back at it. What about you, Nick?
Deck Launch T-shirt Day.
Deck Launch T-shirt
Deck Launch
Day.
T-shirt day.
I feel good.
Let's get it in. Feeling real good. So today's Fresh Tech Tip topic is exit strategy. You gotta know where you want to go. So, Nick, let's go ahead and start this off right and hit me with one of those beautiful world famous definitions of yours.
Right. So what is exit strategy? So exit strategy is a contingency plan that is executed by an investor, trader, VC, or business owner to liquidate a position in a financial asset, which would be the business here or whatever assets the business own, or dispose of tangible business assets once a predetermined criteria has been met or exceeded. So pretty much that means when do you sell or leave the business, and how do you do it? A couple of key things in there is predetermined criteria, not only because there's criteria that needs to be reached, but it's predetermined. So exiting is not something that just happens. Hey, I'm feeling like I need to exit today, and then I'm going to exit. Now, it's something that you have to see ahead of time. And even if today you feel like you're going to, maybe you didn't think you're going to exit, if today you feel like you're going to exit, it's probably something you're going to have to do months and months and months down the road. It's something that takes a lot of planning. So that's what it is. How do I leave my business? What am I leaving it for? What are my reasons for leaving it? And how do I execute that?
And one of the things you can hear from Nick is that there's a lot of information that goes into making the decision of an exit strategy. It is really not this thing where you just get up and walk out the door. And so that does signal things to your investors. So we found that some investors really want to know your exit strategy, whether it be on a slide or not, mostly because they're looking at your managerial style and how you and your teammates go into business every single day. And so having an exit strategy, even if your priority is to keep your business, actually also signals how embedded you are in your business, your leadership skills, and ultimately how you work with people. Because I mean, if your team knows that you may consider to exit with the right information, or with the right money, rather, you that's still something you have to communicate. All those pieces do fall into how you are a leader.
Yeah, no, definitely, Doc. And this is something that I struggled with early on as a young business owner. I just wanted the satisfaction of having my business and maintaining my lifestyle financially how I was in corporate. So it wasn't a thing when I jumped into this business saying, hey, I want to IPO at this point in time. So it was kind of which was bad. If I would have had that established already, I would have been a lot further out than I am right now because it's kind of hard to reach a goal if you don't know it. Um, so so it's when I started, it was like I said, my exit strategy, so to speak, was to to basically maintain my financial status from corporate America. And so once that was reached, and then it's always back to that question that we love to ask, now what? But if
Right.
I had established, but if I had went in established knowing that, hey, I want to IPO, I want to sell the business when I get to this amount of money, then I would have goals to reach for. And the fact that I didn't have those goals, I wasted a lot of time not trying to reach them.
Yep. And one of the
But
things that we
that's a fact, man. Go ahead, Doug.
one of the things we started to find ourselves doing, um, as we continue to grow, and learn more about how our approach to pitch decks, we found that we've had to actually ask our clients as a screening question. How would you feel if someone walked in today and had enough money? for you to be a 49% owner. So you're not the majority owner, but someone just brought their friends in, and now they own 51% of your business, but you have everything you need for your business to survive. What do you do? And so most of our clients would say, I don't know. And they go back and read about exit strategy. But then you have another subset that are like, absolutely, which means they understand that they wouldn't be able to build their idea on their own. And then we have a much smaller subset that has tried to negotiate and figure out where they land. And that is okay too. But you always got to remember with the nature of exiting in one way or another, there are checks and balances. So I guess we should probably talk about types of exits, huh?
Yeah, let's get right to it.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, there's a lot of different types of exit strategies. And Nick, you can go ahead and jump right in.
No, I appreciate it. Yeah, I love what you were saying, Doug. And just to reiterate, it's definitely something that it doesn't have to be a definite answer in the beginning, especially whether with the types or whatever it is. Once you start your business, you still probably have a long way to go before you are exiting. So, but it's definitely something for you to think about in the beginning so that you're working towards it, like Derrell said. So types of exits, I'll take the first one. The first one is management buyout. This means, so if you're already kind of established and you're working, and all these are probably for established businesses. So depending on your structure, and you have a team of executives that are helping you run the business. And in this situation, they purchase the business from you, and then they buy you out either completely or partially. And lots of things, two things that we're going to be talking about, or things to remember with each of these exits, is the purpose. So if you either want to reduce your involvement in the business, say, you know what, I want to do other things, so I want to kind of hand this off to people and I want to be compensated for that, or you're trying to use it to gain capital for the business. Okay, hey, look, we need to get an influx of cash here. Let's bring some people in here to give me some more resources, actually, not just money. It can be strategic partnerships. They have something that we may need. We see it all the time with companies that we hear, this Apple bought this company today that makes screens. They're trying to move into autonomous driving cars, and then just buy a company that does that. For that company that they bought, that's an exit strategy. This is how they always thought that we're going to build it to this level, and if this opportunity presents itself, we'll exit. So this is one of those. So here is more internal. Advantages of this to people that you're selling to that already know your business, to people that you've been working with. It's a smooth transition. You have more peace of mind. There's more trust there, and then they can buy you out. The next one would be IPO, like Derrell talked about. A lot of people hear about this. They don't really know what it is. It seems very ambiguous, but pretty much you offer shares of your company to the public. So the public, they're full confident in your company. They see what you're doing. They want to be a part of it, and they buy into it. This is probably the largest return as far as like ROI. Once you go public, that's generational wealth, and not just money, just resources. That's the kind of money that you use. For example, if you look at where Facebook was when they were just this nice brand new idea, versus now where they're in antitrust lawsuits because they're so huge. That's once they went public, they now have the funds to start doing things and buying Instagram and buying WhatsApp.
And another thing that happened when they went public is full transparency.
Yes. And that's something that we're going to kind of touch on a little bit. We can't go into too much details. Initial public offerings have probably the most scrutinized regulations for you to get there. You have to go through the SEC, this is another reason why we say this is something you got to plan years and years and years and years. Because if you think you're going to do an IPO, that's your plan, then you're going to be operating a certain way on your way up. Because we might get to that point where you're finally big enough to do IPO, but you have some skeletons in the closet that probably just you can never go that route. So you have to keep your end goal in mind when you're moving that way. I'm glad that you said that, Derrell. So this is probably one of the most stringent. But every single one of these, because you're talking about huge amounts of money, big transactions, there's going to be forensic accountants There's going to be people going through everything that you do. So you have to be prepared for that either way. And then outside sale, this is where you find a buyer, and then you sell either part of your company or all of your company. That one's pretty straightforward. Transfer of ownership. This one is if you're trying to pass it down from father to son or to other members of your family, or to maybe not somebody who's a member, maybe you're passing it from to your protege or somebody that you mentored, just passing it down. And in this situation, they're probably not going to be buying it from you. Maybe they are. You do some kind of structure. So this one's this is just for you to relieve yourself of those duties. Maybe you want to do something else. You found somebody who you trust, who's like the little version of you, and you, hey, this person will really take my company to whatever level, the next level, whatever, and you pass it down to them so that you relieve yourself of those duties and you can move on to other things. And then the last one we'll talk about is partial exit. And partial exit is pretty much is not a different style, it's just a different mindset where, okay, I'm only giving up this section. So a lot of people, like, for example, a few years ago, Nike gave up making, I think they gave up making golf clubs. And this is, so that's an exit. They're like, hey, you know what? No longer making golf clubs. So what they did, they have factories, they have all kinds of assets that they've acquired over years to meet those needs. So now they sell those. We have to lay some people off. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that goes into shutting down parts of your business, or shutting down, selling off parts of the shares that you have. So that would be a completely different mindset, but it will still be similar methods as well.
And just remember, when you're thinking about these these other types, these last couple that we talked about, is even if this is definitely a place where you have to be outside of my business is my baby, because I mean, even with IPOs, generally the way it's structured, you'll find yourself in the place where you can still keep a bunch of power. I mean, just see how the founders of some of your favorite IPOs have done. But when you start to look at some of these other ones, like with outside selling, I mean, you're letting it go. Transfer of ownership,
more voices, yeah.
even internally, even if you think that your kids are going to love it, they still love the concept. They can always change it all the time. They can change it, and in partial exits, if you reduce your position and or your involvement, it's kind of self-explanatory. And this is why we are so big about you understanding what it really means to exit before you make those decisions.
And thinking about it ahead of time when the stakes are not as high, when it's just a concept. Hey, what could it look like when I'm at this age, or where I reach 5 stores, 10 stores, if I'm franchising, if I reach 5 or 10, or what would that look like? Or if I reach a certain amount of money, like, is that, what I'm saying? If you start thinking about those kind of things, it'll help you kind of plan it out, so that you're not shocked by it, or you don't miss your opportunity.
Yeah, man, and it, like you said, it all goes back to planning, because if you don't plan this, like, there's no end goal. So at least what we want y'all to get out of this is start thinking about the process of exit strategy. Try to start thinking about your business and where you want to be at. Just have that in your mindset as you move forward, and it can change how you do things. So we talked about the different types. Nicholas, let's talk about how to exit.
Yep, just like you just mentioned, this exit plan, and we talked about predetermined criteria. And a big part is, like we said, you have to get to a certain level, because soon we're going to talk about valuation, but everything goes hand in hand. So for you to even start thinking about, hey, I need to exit, or there has to be people who are interested. Your business has to get to a certain level. So you need to know what those things are, so that you're working towards those, so that you hit the sweet spot when it's time to exit. So you don't go too far, or you don't start too soon, because there people do fail when the big business gets to this level and they think that they have all this, and they go public, or they try to sell, and it doesn't work out for them. So, it is risky. There's a lot that you're putting on the line. So finding out what are the key things that show me, hey, okay, I think I'm ready to exit here, whether it's money, whether it's reach or franchises, whatever it may be. So determining that ahead of time as early as possible. And of course, like we said, with everything, with pitch decks, whatever we're doing business-wise, it's alive. It keeps changing. As you change, maybe next year you feel different about it. So don't feel like you're tied down. Just start somewhere and then keep changing it as you want to.
Yeah, one of the things you can always do here is you can put these concepts of how to exit, because if you look at those, if you listen to what we've been telling you with regards to like how you exit, you can put all of those items on a spreadsheet or a piece of paper, and then you can put the types of exit strategy we have on a piece of paper. So you're basically putting together a little graph. So you have the exit strategies in the column or the row, and vice versa for the basically the risks, and just rate them from top from a 5-point rating scale or a 10-point rating scale, and see which one fits your concepts, whether it be risk or liquidity. Liquidity. The best thing is that you can always change these things, but you can look at them as you go. And it's kind of like what we tell you with pitch decks or anything else, is that make sure that it's a living, fluid document, but also pay attention to all of the different things that feed into how you would possibly build your exit strategy, because you don't have to make a definite decision today, and you can figure out what's risky for you today versus less risky for you tomorrow.
Yeah, and then your motivation to exit. I know we're always going to think positively, but I mean, this is business. Everything can go both ways. So exiting can also be something that you use to get out if things are not going too well, and which again comes back to those performance indicators, probably even more at this point. So you want to see, hey, what are the signs that are showing me, hey, maybe I should be trying to exit. And you might be exiting maybe because I no longer have the tools to save my business. It's gone past me, so I need to give it to somebody else who might be able to save the business, or maybe I need to split up my business, whatever it might be. But hey, this is going south. I need to limit my loss, and that could be also a reason to exit. And then on the other side is to make money. So this might be your capitalization of all your hard work. I want to liquidate, sell to somebody, cash out, and then go do something else. So what is your motivation? And we talked about some other ones, passing down to your family, et cetera.
And that can you touch on the valuation of the business, Mr. Declanche?
So what you'd like to do is of course really work on valuating your business with the help of specialists. There's a lot of things by the time you start to get into, well, what does this mean if I IPO? What does this mean if I sell these specific pieces of my business, whether it be partial or outright? There's so many things that you need to understand before, and it would take us down a rabbit hole, pretty much a whole different show for the most part.
Right.
So, like for example, if you're talking about the public offering and you're trying to get a decent projection, there's so many different things that you may have to use, because you may need to get somebody to well, if you've been working in the darkness, maybe you're going to need an accountant and an auditor to go back through your numbers. Maybe you're going to need someone who's a financial modeler to run your information through Monte Carlo simulations, which would take the years that you've had your business in service and see how it projects based on a whole bunch of different aspects of business in finance. You may just need to talk to a lawyer. It might just be that easy. But to me, and the way that we look at things, is always all of the above. Because you always want to make sure that you mitigate your risk.
Yeah, and I mean, we had a few businesses have gone public in the last few weeks, and most of them have been in tech. And one thing that you see is before they go public, and we're just talking about public here, but the concepts are similar. Is you as your company, the person who's selling, you decide, hey, this is what this is worth, and so you need to make sure you do what your proper due diligence to make sure that that's as accurate as possible. So that when you go out, because you're going to go out and ask people to buy at a certain price, they need to agree with you. If there's a discrepancy between what you think your business is worth and what the market thinks that your business is worth, you're gonna have some problems there. So that's pretty much what valuation is. So understanding this is exactly what it's worth, so you can make accurate planning, and then you can actually stand firm for that price when you go to sell.
No, definitely. When we did our acquisition of our Ohio sector, we definitely had to deal with making sure that evaluation was right, because we're buying we're buying this company, and this is my first acquisition, so I'm like, I think it's worth this,
Right.
so that's when you have to lean on somebody else's understanding, who's an expert, which is exactly what I did, and it turned out to be a good win-win deal for both of us.
Okay, that's a good point, Derrell, because we're talking about this exit from our perspective, but it also helps you identify other businesses that are ready to exit, because that could help you as well. We can't make an episode called entrance strategies, but but it's the same thing. So other companies are at the point where they're ready to exit. Other founders are at the point where they're ready to exit, and you being able to understand the way exit strategies work will help you identify those opportunities as well, like Derrell said.
Yeah, no, definitely. So we talked about the evaluation, determining how much involvement you want to have in the business, if any. We kind of touched on that earlier, but you need to know, do you want to just go cold turkey? Do you want to let somebody else have it? Do you still want to have some decision making power? And this is when he was talking about, is this your baby? Can you let your baby go? So that's something that you need to determine for yourself and for the company. And then finally, prepping to exit. Nick, you want to hit prep one last time?
Yeah, and this is just really, really hammering home the fact that we're discussing this. There's so much detail that goes into this. We're trying to put a bug in people's ears, because this is something that people don't even think about. You get your business and you're just going and going and going, and you never think about this. This is something that is your crown. It's probably going to be your crown jewel. Whether you decide to exit or not, this is really this is what the destination. You want to get to that point where you have this option on the table. So you need to think about it early, because planning needs to be done from the ground stage. You can't start planning. If you start planning halfway through or years and years into your business, that's years and years that you've lost. So that means it's going to add more time before you can get to the point where you're going to be able to exit, or it's going to increase the amount of resource that's going to take you to get to that point. So you either throw time at it, or you throw money at it. So just understand that it's going to take a lot of planning, and then keep that in mind, so that when you do get to the part where it is time to exit, even that process is going to take probably years to complete. Once it's like, okay, we're even at that level, I've done everything I need to do, it's still going to take over a year to put all your ducks in a row. So,
right.
Just keep that in mind.
Doc, final thoughts?
I think we just want to hit it. We want to hit this one more point on the head. We had a cool question that's still talking about keeping your personal feelings out of the evaluation of your business. The answer is just not that easy. Just about once there's for all the kids that go get their masters or even bachelors in business right now, they all learn at least one or two case studies where a CEO who didn't even necessarily start the business started to panic about their control when they turned over, but especially for people who own their own businesses. And so it's one of those things that you have to really do the best that you can to pull your feelings out when you know the opportunity. So it's getting back into some of those checks and balances emotionally, that says, okay, so if I lose the emotional tie to my business, what other values am I getting? Am I getting more time with my family that's just as important? Am I getting am I putting my team who's not going to continue with me, but it's going to continue with that's going to stay with the company? Am I putting them in the best place? Of course, money. Let's be serious.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of those things, but it's really making sure that you honestly look at those other checks and balances outside of you, because basically if you're just saying I'm not selling because I built it, you might be the word was blocking your blessings, pretty much. That's probably
No,
the best way I can
no,
explain it.
and bro, and also I love that you said that. It can't just be I'm not selling because I built it. Because if you honestly feel like this is something that I can't part with, something I don't want to exit from, that's fine. If you've actually thought about it, but you're gonna have to make a plan to secure the future. That's when you start talking about heirs and finding people who are gonna run it, and so because eventually you're not gonna be that involved. But you need to think about it. It can't just be like I can't even fathom. It can't be that. That's not a plan.
Yeah.
It's not a plan. I want to thank everyone for joining. We really, really appreciate your time. We hope that every second was valuable for you. Please join the Fresh Tech Tips Facebook group. Catch us live on Facebook Live every Monday at 12-ish. And as always, on iTunes, Spotify, iHeart, SoundCloud, TuneIn, all of those podcast places. Just search for Fresh Tech Tips. And if you need a mobile app or have an idea for Deck Launch to turn to reality, reach out to Fresh Tech or Deck Launch. Having an exit strategy is key. Even if you don't think you have one, you do. If you can establish goals and a roadmap to get to that exit strategy, you'll be more capable of achieving that goal. Because you got to know where you want to go, or you'll never get there. Thanks for joining Fresh Tech Tips. We'll see you next week.